The hospital is beginning its news conference right now. We are hoping to get an update as soon as we're able to see those folks at the podium on the people who were brought there. Let's listen in.
The University Medical Center Trauma Program.
Hi, my name is Peter Ree. I'm the trauma director here at the University of Arizona. Thank you for your cooperation. I know this has been a catastrophe for a lot of people, and there's been a lot of people concerned about their family members. I'll try to give you a brief update, try to avoid giving too much detail so we don't get the information to the families in the wrong order. So far, what we have at this hospital is we have received 10 patients. Of those, 1 died. We have 5 patients in critical conditions, and we currently have 5 patients in the operating room undergoing surgery at the current time period, and the rest of them are stable condition that's without any life-threatening or limb-threatening injuries at this point. And that's all that's all I have in an announcement, and then I'll take a few questions at this point.
Can you verify that it's 10 patients, 1 dead, 5 critical, 5 operating room?
Correct. So again, 10 patients that we have received at the current time period. 1 patient is dead here at the hospital. We have 5 patients in critical condition and 5 patients in the operating room right now undergoing surgery.
Can you tell us that the Congresswoman is one of the deceased?
No, the Congresswoman is not deceased.
Can you tell us her condition currently?
She is in critical condition. The neurosurgeons have finished operating on her, and I can tell you at the current time period, I'm very optimistic about recovery.
Can you tell us where she was shot and the extent of her injuries?
She was shot in the head.
Can you tell us who is the patient that
I do not know that specific information at this point.
Can you tell us any children?
I can tell you that the person that did die here at the hospital was a young child.
Do you know if she's conscious at all? Can you kind of give us an idea of what her condition was like?
Which patient? Gabrielle Giffords' condition was very optimistic because she was following commands.
Was she lucid?
She was shot 1 time.
Where, sir?
In the head, through and through.
Front lobe, back lobe?
Through and through. From I can't tell you right now for obviously for forensic purposes whether it's what direction, but she was shot through and through on 1 side of the head and went through her brain.
When you say optimistic, are you optimistic for full recovery? Is it too early to tell?
We cannot tell what kind of recovery, but I'm about as optimistic as it can get in this situation.
She's currently being operated on?
Surgery has been completed.
And what is the recovery like now? Where is she?
She will go to our intensive care unit.
Is she in a coma? Is she conscious?
She's under anesthesia right now, so we don't know what it's going to be like for a while. What I'm anticipating is what her recovery is in the next 24 hours, which will give me a lot more information that I can portray to you and let you know what about her prognosis. I can't tell you anything specifically about any of the other patients right now except for Gabriella.
approximate age of the child? Can you give me the approximate age?
My understanding was that she was about 9 years old.
Can you tell us where she was struck?
No. I'm sorry?
Can you tell us how many other children there are that came in as victims?
Oh, that was the only child that came into our hospital. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, could you join us, please? Thank you. Mayor Bob, walk up.
This clearly is a grave tragedy for this community. It's a grave tragedy for the state of Arizona and for this country. I think this is the time for all of us to give our thoughts and our prayers for the victims of this tragedy that has just happened in front of us. I want you to know that what I have done is I have instructed our chief of police, that you're going to hear from in a moment, to give the absolute complete support to the sheriff's office who is conducting this investigation. They are the ones, the incident officer in charge of this tragedy. Our police department responsibility is for the citizens of the city of Tucson and for this university hospital. I'd like everybody to understand that the significance of what this means to all of us. To me, it really means to our country. I did have a chance to talk to Gabby's father as he came in. And I told him that this community and this region, this state, has Gabby's prayers and her thoughts in our hearts for her recovery. I'm very, very pleased to hear the doctor's report that she is still alive and fighting for her life. So those that are fighting for their lives, this is the time for us to really, let's say our prayers for a recovery. And for those that died today, they will not be forgotten. They are citizens of this country, citizens of Arizona and Tucson. With that, I'd like to turn the mic over to the Chief of Police that will go into the details of how we can best serve the Sheriff's Department in conducting this investigation. And I'll also tell you that you need to be sure, as media, that you have the collective information, not only from UMC, but from other sources to get to the total magnitude of this great tragedy. With that, I'd like to introduce our Chief of Police, Villasenor.
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, I won't have much information I'm able to give to you. As the mayor pointed out, this is an investigation of the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I believe they have already held a press conference giving out details about the investigation. Our role here with the Tucson Police Department and in the city of Tucson is that we have secured the offices and residences of Congresswoman Giffords as well as other Congress people and members of the House Representatives. We did that as a precautionary measure. We had no information that there was any threat, but obviously we wanted to take every precaution needed to maintain the safety of all involved. We will assist the Pima County Sheriff's Department in any capacity that they need from us. I've been in direct contact with Deputy Chief Castigar from Pima County Sheriff's Office, who is handling the investigation, and I've assured him that we are there to assist in any way possible. So there's really not much other information I can tell you other than I do stress and ask that you verify your information, because you have two different press conferences and you have different agencies involved. As far as the medical issue is here at UMC and the investigation is with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. So thank you.
Sheriff, who was the mom of this case?
I'm sorry?
Who was the mom?
Well, like I said, as far as here or up at the scene, it was Pima County Sheriff's Department and Department of Public Safety that handled the scene preservation and control of the scene and is still conducting the investigation. Here at the hospital, it was Tucson Police Department with the assistance of the University of Arizona Police Department, as well as representatives from the Pima County Sheriff's Department to come down here to help conduct the follow-up investigation.
Can you give us any information about the shooter in this case?
No, I cannot. That has to come from the Pima County Sheriff's. My understanding from the Sheriff's Department is they do have one subject in custody, yes.
What other representatives' homes were secured?
I don't want to talk about that at that point. Right now, we just made an evaluation on who we needed to provide some security for, and we took care of that.
Does it include state representatives?
No, not to that level. Federal level.
Federal officers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can you tell us what the Congresswoman's father said to you, what you said to him?
Well, he's in a wheelchair. And clearly he was overcome with emotion. He had the family members around him. He wanted to be with his daughter. He wanted to know where was the operating room. And we instructed police officers to escort him down to the operating room so he could be close at hand. And he was very appreciative that he would have a chance to be within a moment's notice of his daughter. And I think that's the problem. My understanding, her mother was here as well, so the family is gathered, and the family is by her side, and that's where they need to be.
Mayor, you're tearing up right now. How emotional, how difficult is this day for you?
Well, I think that there's not a person in this room, I don't think, that doesn't understand the emotion of losing our citizens in such a tragedy, and losing those citizens will not ever be forgotten. There are some people that have been injured that are near and dear to our hearts. We've lived with many of them. So it's a decent emotion, I think, to tear up when we lose people, and we have people fighting for their lives. So this is, as I said, this is the time for us to to remember them, to thank them, put them in our prayers, and wish them the very best because they're near and dear to all of us. Thank you very much.
Mayor, can you confirm or deny rumors that a judicial officer was involved in today's shooting?
I cannot do that. All I can do is really report on and understand what has happened here at UMC. And that's why it's essential that you put all this together. You need to get the information from the Sheriff's Department. You need to put that together, which is a little complicated, but you must do that. And as the good doctor reported, we know exactly what has happened here. But you need to put it all together from other sources.
We've been unclear on how you hold it to PIOs from the Sheriff's Department. Where is some people are having trouble reaching.
We're going to ask very well. I'm going to ask the chief to kind of go into what he knows about the Sheriff's Office press conference, which apparently was just held. Chair?
Thank you, Sheriff.
Mayor, do you know they take the last right to the Congresswoman? When that rabbi came over to talk to her? Is that correct?
We don't have any information on that. We don't have information on that. As far as for the Sheriff's Department, my understanding the press conference was held at the Westward Look. They will be having information. Also, I think another press conference tonight. So they will be putting out that information to all media outlets.
Can you tell us if there's any reason to believe that there's anyone else out there at this point in terms of?
We have nothing that the sheriffs have relayed to us to indicate that that's an issue, but obviously we take all precautions.
Right now you think it's one shooter?
Like I said, right now that's going to have to be answered by the Sheriff's Department. That's something we can't say. Absolutely not. We have officers here to provide security, but there is no lockdown of any kind. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. We have another speaker, President Shelton of the University of Arizona.
Good afternoon. I'll be brief because you've heard from the key people so far. In addition to conveying our thoughts and prayers to all of the victims and their families, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the extraordinary work of the security people, whether of the county or the city, the UAPD, and in particular the staff here at UMC, the physicians, the nurses, all of the people who are involved in providing the kind of care that is unique to this facility. And so I just take this moment to acknowledge them and thank them for all that they've done, from Dr. Ree and all of his team. Thank you again for being here. I'm sure there'll be more information coming out.
Thank you. That concludes our briefing. I understand at 6 p.m. this evening, I believe the Sheriff's Office is having another briefing at Westward Look, and we'll have a UMC representative there with an update on conditions.
So for the first time since this horrific shooting that Congresswoman was shot in the head, a federal judge, we understand, was killed, a child who may have been just 9 years old was killed. We are getting firsthand information from the hospital about the conditions of the people who were injured in this shooting. Of those taken to the medical center, 5 are in critical condition, 5 still in the operating room. Among those in critical condition, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who was holding a constituent meeting outside a local grocery store. According to the surgeon, Dr. Peter Ree, she had 1 gunshot wound through the side of her head, what he called a through and through, but he is very optimistic about her recovery. We were told that going into surgery, she was speaking, that she was following commands. Now, having just come out of surgery, according to the doctor, she is still obviously under anesthetic, but he is as optimistic as he can be about her recovery for this type of injuries. 10 patients in all were brought there. Again, 5 in critical condition, 5 still in the operating room. 1 child died. The mayor calling it a grave tragedy for this community and for this country. For those of you who may be just joining us, this is a story that has so many levels on it. First of all, you have this 22-year-old who is in custody. Officials say that he had a pistol with an extended magazine. Witnesses say he fired at least 20 rounds. There are federal, state, and local officials on the scene who are part of this investigation. The Congresswoman who won a close re-election this year is married to an astronaut.